Hey guys, today we're meeting the CEO of Kylo, Kaleda Connell. I wish you happy listening. Bye. Hello everyone. Today we are here at the Coaches Congress. We are in day 2 and we have a new special guest here, Kaleda, out of Canada, straight out of Canada. Purely fresh, and she is a multi-entrepreneurial woman and has a lot of experience in the fitness business. I think you have probably so much insight into so many gyms and their success and what they do wrong and so on. So I think we might dig into that, some of those questions. So if the listeners are doing some gym business, this is definitely going to be for you. But yeah, Kaleda, what is your 30-second elevator pitch?
Of myself.
Of yourself.
Of myself. Well, my name's Kaleda. I'm from Canada. Usually I start off with that. And
Takes that. Oh, you're not American.
Yeah. No, I love my American friends, but I'm very proud to be Canadian. So, it's from the eastern part of Canada. But so I'm a former gym owner. I am the current CEO of Gym Lead Machine, which is soon to be Kilo, which I know is a little bit confusing, but we're doing rebranding because we're adding a product to our stack, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. So, I mean, I've worked with Two Brain for, I can't tell you how many years because I don't remember, but I've been a Two Brain business mentor for a few years now. I did start my gym with Chris Cooper, so I think I was slightly I had a leg up, I guess. I had a leg up when
brainwashed.
I still made a lot of mistakes though, because of course, like any entrepreneur, you don't listen to all the advice that you're given right off the bat, right? But as soon as you start trying it and you realize, wow, there are people out there that are smarter than me, it became a lot easier. So still have made my fair share of mistakes. I've done restructured some other small businesses as well. My focus is generally operations, but that's more than 30 seconds, so let me stop there.
So I'm a bit curious about that. As you opened your own gym, were you before like an athlete, like training by yourself? Was it, I want to have my big dream and do it by myself, or was it more like business also before?
It's a long story and I'll keep it short, but 30 seconds. I actually worked in agriculture before. I am university educated, but in earth system science and soil, and I really like dirt, and it's just a very interesting story. I grew up on a farm, so agriculture is really, in my blood, and I was selling fertilizer to farmers, and I hated it because it sucked. Selling to farmers is I love my farming friends and my farming family, but farmers are very cheap, and it was really about competing on price, and it was not a fun job, other than getting to talk to farmers all day long, which is actually kind of fun. But I really I didn't like my job, and I was a CrossFit athlete. There was no gym in the town that I lived in at the time, and so when I went to buy a house, I had some non-negotiables, right? And one of my non-negotiables was it has to have a big garage. And so I had a rig in my garage before I had a couch in my living room.
Oh, crazy.
So my partner at the time, we were sleeping on an air mattress, and I was training people in the garage. So I eventually found a building, bought the building, and moved what small number of clients that I had into that building, and started from there.
So you are you the same level of fitness freak today
as I was 7 years ago? Gosh, I think it would depend on what time 7 years ago. I've definitely gone through ups and downs, right? When I first started my gym, it was not a good time. I was very, very busy. People from the outside, they look in and they say, wow, it must be really great to own a gym.
All the time.
You must work out all the time. And I thought, man, I haven't cooked for myself in weeks. Let alone train. So there was a point in time about 6 to 8 months in where I thought, oh dear, I'm really going to have to, something's got to change here.
Start to work out,
And it didn't change until I got some really good staff in, and I could give some of those jobs to them, and I wouldn't have to coach every single class, and I could actually attend one. But I would say my fitness now is okay. I'm a fitness connoisseur, and I like different kinds of fitness, and I do CrossFit, yoga, spin, all kinds of stuff like once a week. So yeah,
that's cool.
Cool. So one very common argument I hear for people that have a gym is that they say that doesn't work in my town. My town is not big enough, or there's no way we can have this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but your gym was in a town of 2,000 people, right?
Correct. So, well, actually incorrect. 2,300.
Yeah, very important. Yeah. I mean, it's a
so more 300 than, more, yeah.
Yeah, it's more than 10% more.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to them, or have you been telling those, like as a mentor? What have you been telling those people from your experience, like being in a small town? What drives that gym successful?
I mean, there's so many things that you can do when you're in a small town. You can build really good connections with people. You can also tear those connections down really easily. So you have to be very careful. But I love the argument. I love it when mentees bring me that argument. That's not going to work for me. And you know, I'll continue that conversation, explore that a little bit more. You know, why do you think that? What sort of limiting beliefs do you have around that? And they usually can't quite, like, oh, people won't pay that much, or you know, the people in town. And I'll say, like, who? Give me a list of who you know will not do that thing. And they usually can't answer that question. And even if they can, I will usually say, have you tried? And the only thing that I've ever asked of most of my mentees is, let's just try. If it doesn't work, prove me wrong, and we'll change it. When I ran the Two Brain marketing course, or the Two Brain marketing team, and we were kind of reorganizing some of the structure of that team and that course, I had some clients, and one in particular, his name was Rob, and he was also from a small town. Twice the size of my town, though. And I said, you know, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. But he brought me all of these limiting beliefs, and he would say, you know, the advertising that you're running, or that you're telling me to run, it's not going to work here. It's a small town. It's not going to work here. So I said, okay, I hear what you're saying. Let's just try. Let's just give it a go for like 2 to 3 weeks. If it doesn't work, we'll change it. Let's do it exactly as it's laid out. All the steps exactly how they're laid out. And he did it, and it worked. And maybe that's not true for everyone. I don't, you know, I've not tried it with every single gym owner in the world, of course. But, you know, my number one piece of advice, usually if you have a mentor, if you're taking a course, is like, just try the things that they're telling you to do, right? Just try the pieces of information that you're consuming. Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of the thing that limits a lot of gym owners, is that, I mean, a lot of them have ideas, and they actually try a lot of things. And that's also a problem, that they try so many things that they don't know what's working, right? But I'm thinking, when it's a small town, and I've been analyzing this myself, because every time I travel somewhere, I'm thinking, oh, this would be a good spot
to start a gym. Yeah, I know.
And I found this rural city, like in North Finland. I'm like, yeah, there's no gyms, you know, in 200 kilometers from here, radius. And everyone in those communities usually travel by car everywhere. So it's even if you live 10 kilometers, 20, 40, it's a 10-minute drive, and everyone drives 10 minutes to everything. So,
yeah, it's the same with rural Canada. Exactly the same. We don't have a great public transit system.
So actually, that municipality of like 2,300 is actually much bigger, and you might have actually 50,000 people. And if you look at those 50,000, well, how many business owners do you have amongst those 50,000 and so on?
Yeah.
So that has always been like where I feel if I would like to, let's say, in one sense, retire from the big city, that would be kind of my have a farmhouse and a gym there.
Yeah. I will say though, like that journey for me was pretty difficult. I moved to this town. And I had this conversation with someone yesterday who's also a female gym owner in a small town in Sweden, and our stories were super similar. We moved to this smaller town, bought a house, bought a building, started to train people, and I had people saying like, who does she think she is? Coming here, starting a business. I've always thought a gym would be a great idea, and now she's doing it. Like, who does she think she is? So that was really tough. It was eye-opening too. I'm fairly good at compartmentalizing, so I kind of could keep that separate, but I still, like, I was 4 or 5 years in, and I still had people who would not come to my gym because they thought of the gym idea first or something like that.
But I can tell a similar story from being in a big city.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in a big city you have more gyms, and usually the next gym is going to be built by somebody who is training at one of those former gyms.
Yes.
And then when you open up your gym, you're going to also see that kind of, did he open a gym? Like,
I was going to do it.
I was going to do it, but hey, I do more muscle ups than him. Or I snatch more than that guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to go to that gym. So that definitely kind of exists. Of course, it's like, it's very easy to listen to those few when it's actually the majority doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very easy to get like, and it's the same thing with members, right? You have, everyone is complaining. It's like, who is everyone?
Make a list.
Make a list. We have talked about that a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you, so you open up a gym, and you start mentoring, and then you sold your gym.
Yes.
That was before you started with the GLM, or?
It was kind of in conjunction. So myself and John and Matteo, we had been working together for a number of years through Two Brain Sales and Two Brain Marketing. And as, with Two Brain Sales, you hear a lot of like the complaints from gym owners, right? Yeah. With Two Brain Marketing, we're solving the done for you marketing problem, the DIY, I guess, marketing problem. And there's still so many things that you have to have, like so many pieces of software and so many systems and so many, like just so much stuff in order to run a gym, and it just seems crazy, right? When I set up ads for my gym, I was using Facebook to do the ad, and then zapping that stuff into Google Sheets, and then manually calling people, and then I'd have to use ClickFunnels for the ads, and like there's no less than 7 or 8 pieces of software that we had to use. And so John and Matteo had been deep diving into this, and that's how we came up with Gym Lead Machine. And so as I exited my gym, which was very, it's an emotional emotional time, but I sold my gym, I sold my house, I sold everything I owned, and then kind of like transitioned into Gym Lead Machine pretty much right after.
What gave you the courage to do that?
Opportunity and excitement. I mean, I don't think I had a lot of fear about it.
Okay.
It was just a very exciting opportunity to help gym owners make their lives so much easier. And we had a lot of confidence in the product.
Did you think that you would be in the tech business?
I never dreamed. I thought, I like tech. But like I said, like my specialty is dirt. I don't know if tech is like, those aren't really connected. But I think in my role where my strengths lie, which is really in operations and people, making these personal connections, figuring out who to hire and who's not a good hire and figure out who to fire. But also like the organization, like, okay, so how can we create a system that makes our business really efficient and repeatable and simple? And that's kind of where my strengths lie, which is, I've been asked before, like, do you have an engineering background? And I don't know why my brain is wired like that, quite honestly, but I guess it's a good thing that it is.
Yeah. I mean, you seem to have a good idea of how operations...
I can see it in my brain for some reason, when people are talking to me like, how would I do this? And I can see the pieces falling together. I've always thought going into a business and, like let's say you didn't know where to take your gym. You weren't sure what the problems were. I always thought going into a gym and like restructuring and organizing everything would be a very interesting and complicated opportunity. But maybe that'll be my next business idea.
But so from then, starting Gym Lean Machine and so on, what did you see was you said it's based because it's solving a problem, right? So what was the biggest problem for gym owners?
The biggest problem, well, in my head, and I've been told that gym owners have lots of, this is my one biggest problem, but there's just too much tech and too much manual process. So they were stitching together, 7 or 8 pieces of software. They were stitching it together themselves, which meant that they had to be the tech support on it, because if it broke, they would have to figure out which piece broke. And they were also still doing a lot of things manually. So it took up a lot of time. And as you know, as a gym owner, you don't have a lot of time. And you'd like to be able to delegate things more easily. But if you've built this kind of crazy Frankenstein type system, it's really difficult to delegate that. So yeah, it's just ease of use, right? As a gym owner, you're the cleaner sometimes, you're the coach, you're the therapist, you're the marketing person, but then you also have to be like a website designer. Like that makes no sense. So how do we make tech easier for gym owners was our biggest question, and bringing it all into one platform and having one team to support you was our solution. And so we look at Gym Lean Machine as, yes, it's a piece of technology that makes your life easier, but it's also the support team that will help you with, like this one thing isn't quite working for me. How do I change it? Like we're there for you. So you have somebody in your corner, but you have this piece of tech that also makes your life easier.
I have to say, I'm a customer of Gym Lean Machine, so full disclosure. My experience was really positive in that sense, and positive from the many companies, especially like tech. They focus on customer care, and that's like taking out the fires when the fires are there. And I saw like, this is the good thing, because you've had all the experience from Two Brain, of course, with the client journey, and probably have been reading the Never Lose a Customer Game.
I had my staff read it actually.
And seeing how you have to solve the problems before they become, and that's like, and that's customer experience, as he mentioned it in the book, right? It's customer experience to talk about the things that could, or take out the problems before they even arrive, right? So from a customer experience point of view, from my side, that was like, this is very proactive, every step. So, and yeah, that makes customers happy, and hopefully you get referrals from that.
Yeah, I mean, Two Brain has been great, because obviously we're partnered with Two Brain, but also we learned a lot of the best practices from them. So everything, like you said, from the client journey to how we, do the sales funnel and all that is all two-brain principles. So it's easy. I'm using air quotes with easy, but it's easy to make a good product when you know what the right steps are, right? And being two-brain educated really helped with that, because we've with two-brain, we've tested those things through thousands of gyms, and we know that they work. And so we were able to take those steps and implement them really simply and really beautifully into the software.
Yeah, and now from the your next step now to solve the next problem is taking care of the, well, I mean, you already have the CRM kind of going, which is one thing that most people might not understand with Gym Lead Machine, is that it is like a really good homepage. What most people don't understand about homepages today is that most people don't spend more than a couple of seconds on your page, right? So you really need to have clear call to action. Like, people don't spend too much time at all at your homepage like they did before. And people overcomplicate the homepage too much with so much information here and there. So people might think, okay, Gym Machine is just this homepage. No, but the big part is really the back end, right? The CRM, and the CRM is basically taking care and being structured with the leads, having, set up campaigns and stuff like that. But the next step is obviously taking care of those leads when they're customers.
Yeah,
right?
Once they become customers. Yeah.
So what are your, what's the vision there?
What's the big vision?
Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, we're transitioning to the name Kilo for a reason, because Kilo is going to be our gym management software. So, in the same way that we've been proactive with our customers and listened to our customers, and we've iterated on our Gym Lead Machine product, people kept asking for a gym management software. So I thought, oh, why not? But no, we've hired some really smart people. We've got a CTO. We've got some really smart and really fantastic developers. And we're actually already in the alpha testing phase of Kilo. And Kilo it will be a booking and billing software. So think about like what you use to schedule classes and bill your clients and that kind of thing. The main problem that we've seen with most gym management softwares out there is it's really hard to extract data from them. So how much money are you making? How many members do you have? How long have they been with you? What class times are most popular and which ones aren't? Like things like that to help business owners make the decisions that they need to make quickly in order to run their business. So that's the main problem that we're trying to solve at this point with this software. Of course, there will be some bells and whistles that will be fun that are on the roadmap for later, but we have to solve one main problem at a time, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I see two. I mean, it's great because to have everything integrated, of course, not have multiple systems, is and I would also argue that the brand name, the new one, is better for a couple of reasons. Is that in the lead process, when you have links that, or like I think when you can see it sometimes in the links or so, you see Gym Lead Machine. The customer sees that. And it becomes like, oh, this is a lead system email, right? Not many realize that.
Yeah, not many don't, but consumers are becoming smarter.
Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing if you use HubSpot or MailChimp or anything, and you see this like strange address like click, search, like store data. Oh, people start to they're more sensitive now. They understand it's tracked. They understand who's opening. Are they going to see if I'm opening this and so on? But Kylo is a bit more, I would say,
inconspicuous. Maybe it's also way sexier.
bit shorter. so from the gym management system, then what is your kind of expectation there? Do you have like we're gonna have 10% of the gym market industry?
I mean, our plan is to roll it out to all of our current customers. So we are focused on the CrossFit space primarily because I had a CrossFit gym. John and Mateo had CrossFit gyms. The people who work for us have had CrossFit gyms or worked in CrossFit gyms. So we know that industry really well. So that's our primary niche market. For all of our current customers, Kilo will be free. So we expect most of our current customers to use it. We understand that migration is going to be a little bit difficult. We understand that it's a big deal and it's super important to be really sensitive with that data and sensitive with that process. So those are the next steps in figuring out, hey, how do we migrate things really elegantly? But we do expect the majority of our current clients to be on it. We have just under 1,000 clients at this point that we've been able to efficiently service and efficiently make happy over the last 2 years. So that's the primary goal. We'll see what happens next.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's also from my experience, like switching between systems, and usually from us as a gym owner, and this is what I realized, that the most important thing for this kind of gym management system is now how the class bookings work. I mean, it has to work. We had the experience, like I think years ago, Wodify was just so slow that the customers got angry because it just took so long time to just load the schedule, right? So that was like, okay, this is not good. People are getting frustrated, so they don't train because they can't book the classes.
Right.
And it's been this is not to. I think this is not only with Wodify, so I don't want them to. I'm not throwing shit on them. I think this is general in many system is that. So we transition, and what I then experience is like, okay, you can never have a problem with billing with your clients.
Right. Yeah.
That is just if you some clients that really trust you, they will be fine with, okay, sorry for that, but we had experience of gym systems like double booking and stuff like that,
and double charging,
or
forgot to charge,
or forgot to charge
for months at a time,
and it's like, oh, this person has not been charged for 3 months. That's not good.
Yeah, do I go back and charge them? Like, you have to ask yourself those questions.
Same thing when you transition. It's like, okay, do we have like a safe way to transition without us now, we turn on the new system and it's only, you have like 50 or 200 clients getting double charged that month. That's going to be a shitstorm, right? So
and CrossFit gyms, like, there's the beauty of CrossFit gyms is that we're not told what to do by CrossFit. We're essentially said, like, hey, you can use this name, but you can design your gym however you want, which is beautiful but also really difficult at the same time, right? Because that means that your gym and my gym, while we're both CrossFit, you have like 18 different kinds of memberships that charge on different cycles and all that kind of thing, whereas I maybe have 4 that all charge on the same day, and it's really difficult to build a system that will accommodate both. Right? We've got about 7 alpha testers right now, and we already have almost 150 different membership options with 7 people. So like it's a really complex thing to build. That, of course, in my head I was like, this is going to be really hard, but as soon as you get into it, you're like, whoa. Like, just designing a calendar is going to take months, right? So there's a lot of problems.
Exactly, the calendars, but it has to be exciting too. I see that because I can see stuff like with the billing. How could we be making this much easier for the customer or for the gym owner to really see kind of, well, your revenue, of course, projected revenue, but also see like, are there better ways for the gym owner to get paid, for example, or So I can see a lot of like super interesting stuff to work on, and sometimes, of course, we always have, when you start to work with gym owners, like 150 different options
for seven gyms, 150 different options, and that's like normal. Like I think I had like 70 different options just at my gym, when I ran my gym, not on purpose, but it just happened, right, because of the different programs you run and the different way you run things. So we have many meetings with many difficult questions and many what ifs. So we're working through those, the pros and cons lists. So
yeah.
Will it be at the end that if someone is interested for a gym lead machine or kiddos, that they can take just gym lead machine, or they have to take both, or how will it be?
Yeah. So
or just kiddos, like.
Right now, it will kind of be like a 3-tier product. So in the last 2 years, we've grown incredibly fast, and we've only sold one thing in the last 2 years, and just kind of amazing, and really says something about simplicity and efficiency, right? Sell one thing really, really well. So you don't have 150 different gym memberships, but now we're going to have 3 products, and so the first tier will be a gym website. So we understand how important it is to have a website and have someone manage it for you, but it can also be really expensive to do that yourself or to hire someone to do it. So it's $19 a week, so we're making it really cheap. And you could buy the website product. You can do that now, actually, buy the website product just on its own. And then you can level up to Gym Lead Machine.
Okay.
Gym websites, Gym Lead Machine, and then the third step will be Kilo.
Okay.
Now, like I said, all of our Gym Lead Machine clients will get Kilo for free, whether they use it or not, right? In the future, this is the plan right now, is you won't be able to buy Kilo on its own. In the future, maybe, we'll see how it goes. But I think, the 3 tiers, especially when you've got the same support team for all 3 systems, and they like our support team, is intimately aware of our customers and understands, like we've got so many notes and videos on our different customers' accounts, just in case, someone's away and they primarily look after that account, someone else can step into those shoes. So it's a really special experience being a Gym Lead Machine customer, because typically we are pretty familiar with the business at the same time. And I don't know what that'll look like, when we double in size. Maybe we won't be, but that's the dream, is that, every time I go into an account, I can figure out what's going on very easily, and I can have a conversation with the gym owner while I understand what they're trying to achieve at the same time, right? So that's the idea.
Cool. Our final note today will be something you talked about yesterday in your speech, and was one of the points was simplicity, right? Which you just mentioned. So, what have you seen? And this comes from your point of view as a mentor, but also from Gym Lead Machine. What is it that the gym owners can just simplify? Or maybe you have a concrete example, specific example from somebody who had 150 options, or whatever. What have you seen, or what would you suggest to do? What is the simple solution that people should do, that they could take action today?
Yeah, and I've had this conversation with my mentorship clients as well, and I think it's I don't know if it's the theme of 2022 or what, but I feel like I should tattoo simplify across my forehead, because that's just what I'm talking about, and it just happens to be what Coop's talking about a lot as well. And I think it's just so important to just, whether that's throw out that old t-shirt or whether it's, archive a gym membership that you don't use anymore, but just simplify. And I think, it depends on what you're struggling with right now as to where you should focus that idea of simplification, but figure out what works really well. What's your main product, or what's your main service, or your main staff person, or your main system that works really, really well, and what can you eliminate so you can just focus on that one thing. When I first started going through my mentorship training, there was a stack of books that I was asked to read. And one of those was The One Thing, and the second one was Essentialism. And they pretty much talk about the same thing, but it's like focus on one thing that you do really, really well. Find other people or other systems to look after the rest and continue to do that one thing, because that's, 80% of your results come from the thing that you do really well, and the rest of it's...
I think it's very important because I think that is a big weakness, but also could be a strength maybe for many gym owners, because they want to do so much.
Yeah, so sorry. Somehow something happened with the video and the camera, so we couldn't capture all of the interview in this one. We will, however, try to get Kaleda on one more time. And sorry again for this inconvenience. But yeah, I hope you go out, look what Kaleda is doing. She's doing great things for the community. So until next time, take care. Bye.